Glory by, this is Leon Hilbert, aka the Professor, and welcome to the next modding tutorial. I didn't expect to be making this video so soon. I didn't think I would be making this video at all. But when I was working with somebody on their mod, they are replacing Omega with this Skylander character who I can't remember the name of, sorry. They sent over their blend file for me to have a look at, and I noticed immediately that this character's arms do not line up with Omega's arms. Omega's torso is much wider, the arms are much longer than this character. From what I could tell, we were going to need custom proportions for this model. I read the tutorial made by Ultima647, which is a great tutorial, but I looked at it and I was like, there has to be more than this. No, there's no way. The reason I've been avoiding custom proportions, that's why I should have done for my model, instead of editing each and every of the almost 200 animations, when I had no idea how easy it was to do custom proportions. It took the space of an hour, and most of that time was the 22-minute cooking time. I followed this excellent tutorial by Ultima. The whole time I'm doing it, I'm like, there's gotta be something missing. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get why it works, but I was like, okay, we're gonna test it, and I put Leon into the game with the custom proportions, and it worked. I literally sat here staring at my screen for several seconds because I could not fathom that it just worked, that everything worked and there was no problems along the way. So, listen, if you're scared of getting into custom proportions, do not worry. This is one of the easiest parts of this modding process that you will be doing, I promise. In this video, we're going to move Omega's arm bounties from over here to over here where the character's arm actually is. Because you can see Omega's fingers are all the way over here. And his arm, this is the left arm bone. And I'll show you a screenshot right now. It was making the model do that. And that's not what you want, obviously. The bone is where the armpit should be, is actually where this character's elbow is. Everything is way off. So that's all we're going to be moving. This process can get more complicated if you are adding extra bones, like if you're adding bones for hair, or to add jiggle physics, anything of that sort, then this process will get a little bit more complicated. But I'm just gonna start you out with what you need to do to edit the skeleton to match your character. Before we edited our character to match the skeleton, now we're going to be doing the opposite. Go ahead and fit the character that you're modding into the game to fit the character that you're replacing as closely as possible. So at this point, that's what he has already done. I'm just going to test and see if I do fully understand this custom proportions thing, and I guess if I don't, then this video will never see the light of day. You guys won't even be watching this. But if you are watching this, it did work. Good news, it did work. So that's what we're going to be getting into. So the first thing that you want to do, move both of these arms to where the fingers line up with this character's fingers, where his left arm lines up with this character's armpit. And I believe the left forearm has to go where his elbow is, which needs to be right in the middle of this bolt. That's where it needs to rotate. Right now, I'm in pose mode. You may be in object mode. If you are, go ahead and select the armature. So we're going to go into edit mode, and we're going to start editing these bones. Now, I want to edit these with symmetry so that we only have to do all these edits one time. And so you're just going to go up here in the corner and click this button. And when it's blue, that means that symmetry is being applied. So that way, as you can see, it's hard to see because these bones are incredibly tiny, but both bones are moving at the same time. That means we only have to do half the work. So this bone needs to be right where the character's armpit is, or right where this character's arm pivots. What might make this a lot easier is the fact that this character is a lot like a toy. So you have a very clear indicator of where this bone needs to be. It needs to be right here in the center of this joint, because if this was a real toy and you rotated it, it would rotate based on this circle here. It would be like the bolt, just like right here, and it would always be in the center. So we actually want the bone to be right in the middle of there. So I'm just going to move this across. Maybe right about there. And there are ways that we can test this in Blender, decide whether or not we moved it well enough, and then if we didn't, we can go back and we can move them again. But for now, I think that that's where we're going to place that. Now this one, the left forearm bone, needs to go right at the elbow, which is where this bolt is. We want this bolt to be the center of rotation. So get that right about there in the middle. And then, because we want this to be in the center of the bolt, so I'm going to turn on Z. And yeah, I do want to change the location of this. I really want this to be right smack dab in the middle. We can actually use these arrows because the geometry on this is such that this actually isn't a perfect circle. It's like an octagon. Yeah, an octagon. So we can have these arrows pointing right to these corners. And if you zoom out a little bit, you can make the arrows intersect the corners. So that way, we can make sure it's perfectly lined up in the middle. We will leave it where it is right now, and we will check and see. If you do need to move these to and fro in order to make them in line with your character's arms, then go for it. Just make sure the arms are basically straight, and that will make the animations work best with the character. Okay, now we move the hands, and he has only 3 fingers, so thank goodness we only need to edit 3 fingers. Wahoo! So first of all, let's get the wrist. Yeah, this is left hand, so that's the left hand bone is going to be at the wrist. And so we have another bolt thing here, and we're gonna line that up. And let's see, this tilts up ever so slightly, so I'm going to raise this just a little to where it's basically in the middle. And so I'm trying to figure out where the joints here are going to go. So each of these fingers has 2 joints. This Skylander character, his fingers seem to have 3 joints, but we're just going to leave it and go with the 2 jointed fingers. But you absolutely can go ahead and add another bone at the end of this. You don't want to add a bone in the middle. That's the thing about the custom proportions that is very important to remember during this process. You cannot mess up the bone hierarchy. That means that if you wanted to create fingers with 3 bones, here's what you would do. You would just D and then duplicate this, but we need this to be connected to this bone. So we go into bone, and under relations, we select a different relation, and what we want this to be related to is left and index 2. That will be the parent. So now this new bone goes to left hand index 2. And so then we'll name this left hand index 3. So now it has 3 bones. You don't want to mess up the hierarchy. If this bone, if its parent is this bone, it needs to stay that way. You don't change the parent relation of any existing bone. That will mess everything up, and the custom proportions will not work. It won't even import correctly. And the animations, forget it. Those will be even more messed up. And also, like I said, you can add as many bones as you want, but do not delete any of these bones that are a part of the original skeleton that you ripped from Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. Do not delete any of the bones. Every single one of them are needed in the hierarchy. So now with all of that said, I'm going to move each of these to where they're right in the middle of these joints. I feel like this is a solid piece of metal, so I think that this is the bending point. So I'm actually going to put the bones right in the middle of this black area. So I'm going to press Z. Yeah, I'm going to... Oh, Yeah, don't do that. Make sure you have the entire bone selected, and then move it right in the center of this area. And then we also have, this is the left hand item, and that's whenever your character is holding an item in their hand, this bone right here is the base for where that item will appear. So we'll move that to the center of the hand, and let's go ahead and make sure, yeah, we don't want it to be in the middle of the hand. We want it to be hovering over the palm, with a little bit of room between the palm and, like, you know, where the item would be. Yeah, better to look at it this way, that way we can put it kind of right in the center of the palm right here. And make sure that there is enough distance between the bone and the hand. So that's moved. Now we'll get back to moving these. And then we'll make sure that they're at the proper elevation. Yeah, that one needs to be moved much further down. And so does this. So that will now rotate properly. We'll go ahead and put this right in the middle of right in the middle of this metal joint. Move it over. Making heavy use of this tool over here. That allows you to see straight on in a single direction. And then this bone goes at the first joint, which, remember, is the first place of the finger bends. And the thumb is always a little bit harder because it's at an angle. And yeah, like I said, this is not a difficult process. Depending on how much you're editing, it can be tedious, but it's not hard. Remember that your goal is just to try to get this little bitty bone in the center of the joint. Yeah, I think that that's right where we need to be. And actually, I did want to, I'm glad I saw this. I need to move these. This is the skirt. I need to move these because the skirt rotation, it's these little things that are hanging off his belt that are moving. So that needs to be right where that would pivot from, which is up here where it's attached. So I'm going to move that to the attached point and move it into the center of where it's attached. You just kind of have to move up, down, and all around for these weird shapes. So I think that this is where the knee is, so I'm going to move this over. And we have this lovely little line that we can use for reference. Beautiful. I think that that's actually, that might be where it needs to be. Except I think this is the beginning of the foot, so that'll go at the ankle. I think that the ankle is actually a little bit higher. Let's see. Okay, that's where the rotation happens. That might actually, yeah, that's right spot on, I think. Alright, I believe that everything is moved where it needs to be. I'm going to save. So now we can click on the armature, and we will now go into pose mode. And we're going to test the position of our bones and see if we need to change anything. So let's click R and check these rotations. Yeah, there are a few vertices not assigned correctly, and we're going to fix that in a minute. Yeah, there are a few that I may advise to change. They did a really great job though. This is their very first rendition. They just finished this today. When I'm done with this, I'm actually just going to give this to them and let them edit the one that I've messed around with. But for now, I'm going to fix the obvious issue, which is there's a little, it looks like there's just one, yeah, there's one tiny vertice that is not weighted. So I'm going to show you an easy way to fix this. So go ahead and rotate it to where you can see it. And left click to lock that in. And then go out of this. And go into weight paint. And I'm going to look at the vertex groups and find the vertex group that is not weighted properly. I believe that it's going to be the hand. Yeah, there we go. So there's one tiny vertice that is not weight painted. And see if it would be nice to go into edit mode, but if I do that, the model is going to move back. And then I'm going to have to guess. Which honestly, there's not that many vertices, so I could just guess. But I'm going to go ahead and try to weight paint this. So set weight paint to 100%. Yeah, I'm just gonna click on this and there it goes. It's back. We fixed it. So yeah, I have this set to 1 weight or 100% weight, and I just rub over that until the vertex pops right back to where it's supposed to be. Nice and easy. We can now go back out to object mode, click on the armature, go back to pose mode, and I'm going to reset this bone back to position. And the way you'll do that is hold Alt and press R and G. And you can also press S. So the R is for rotation, G is for location, S is for scale. So if you press all 3 of those, the bone will go right back to where it was before. And so now we can continue our test. I just realized, is this gonna, ooh, okay, yeah. Because this rotates that way too. It looks great rotating side to side, but I bet you anything that this character had another rotator right here. And that's what rotated this bone on this axis. And then there was another bone here that rotated it here. See, that looks perfect. See, this is where like the custom bones might come into play, but the thing is, like we just talked about a minute ago, you can't mess with the hierarchy, so we could not add a bone in here and have it work. If we wanted to do that, we would have to do a different process. We would have to also edit all of the animations as well. And we're not doing that today. We're just going to deal with the way this looks, and that is fine. It's gonna look great. Right now, that rotation on that axis looks absolutely beautiful. So I'm gonna take what I can get, and we're just gonna go with that for right now. Okay, I see. That looks pretty good. But honestly, I think I didn't realize exactly how this would rotate, but now I understand. I actually want to move the rest over here. So here's what we can do. You can actually just go right into edit mode, and you can edit it just like before. And I'm just gonna move this farther out. And that didn't mess anything up, and now we can try again with the new location. And I'm liking how that's looking. A whole lot better. Yes, exactly. Perfect. So you see, it's really easy to just, you see something you don't like, just go into edit mode, change it around a little bit, and get right back to it. Oh, wait. Oh, is that not weighted? That's fine. That's not weighted. We're okay with that. That mode's great. Is this not weighted either? Nope. And that's fine too. So these are the only ones that they weighted, and that works. Because maybe that's all that actually moves. Maybe these, I saw these like indentions in the shading, so I thought that maybe those were joints, but maybe they weren't. So that's quite alright. That looks good. And we don't have to check the other side, because the other side is exactly the same. We're going to rotate this, and that looks good to me. I think that's right about where it needs to be. And I don't think if they weighted the toe. Oh, they did. Oh, cute. Oh, his little toe moves. I love it. Okay, well, I need to move the toe as well. Yeah, I want to move the toe right there in the center of that. Okay. Back to pose mode, and we'll test it out. Yes. Very nice. I think that this toe actually is only supposed to move this way, but I'm not sure how Omega's toe moves, so we'll find out. But that looks good. I like the position. And then the knee. And that looks pretty good. I should have looked on the other side to look at the back of the knee. But that's probably exactly where it needs to be. As a matter of fact. I think so. I think that's right where it's supposed to be. That looks good too. Oh, what? Oh. We have a missing vertex. Here we go. Now let's go to the left leg. And it looks like it's probably related to that. Yeah, it definitely is. So, oh, and there it goes. All done. And I'll reset that. And, oh yeah, we need to rotate this. Oh yeah, that is an issue I didn't think of. Because if it rotates that way, then that's going to look weird. So that may be a part where you load in one of Omega's animations, which I might actually do here in just a sec, just to see how these parts move. Let me make sure. Yeah, there was a part of the hips that wasn't attached. Yeah, so there's just a thin line of vertices, no big deal. It's fine. Oh, looks like most of them are supposed to be weighted to spine. So it's either the spine or the pelvis, so I'm going to say it's the spine. And we're going to assign all these to the spine. There we go. No. This one's being temperamental. There we go. And yeah, again, rotating the hips. Quick way to make sure everything is assigned, and it is. And okay, good. We don't have to check anything else because everything else is assigned. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to grab one of Omega's animations real quick, and then I'm going to load it in here, just so that I can test and see how it looks. And we're going to go to the animation tab. This panel here at the bottom, you want to change this from dope sheet to action editor. And then you click this, and you'll be able to select your animation. Oh, I forgot. I forgot about this. Since we're doing custom proportions, whenever you load an animation in, you're actually not going to be able to test the animations this way, because you'll notice, like, he looks all messed up. Yeah, because I don't know how the custom proportions thing works, so I don't know how to tell you how it works, but anyway, regardless, we haven't done the custom proportions part yet to make the animations do that thing. I'm so professional right now. If you load any animations in here, the skeleton is going to pop right back into the position that it would be if you were animating Omega, which is going to undo all of the work that you did with the bones. It's going to pop it right back into place. That's why doing custom proportions was not this simple. There were still more steps after this. Not very many. It is very simple, but we can at least check. I wanted to see basically how these swing around. Of course, they did change position. They don't seem to move at all. Certainly they move at some point. Oh, they moved a little bit there. Okay, so they moved. They do move, but they move very little. They move up just ever so slightly right there. So if that's the only movement they're going to be doing, then I like the position of the bones. But yeah, as you can see, we go back to, in this case it's called body action. Then we select all the bones by pressing A, and then we Alt R G, and it goes right back to looking like it did. And just make sure to delete any keyframes you made in body action, and now your model is back to normal. So now that we've discovered all of that, and we've decided that we're happy with the way that our model's bones rotate and the positions of the bones, we are now going to export and move on to the next part. So go ahead and export this as an FBX, and I'll remind you of the settings here because they're very important. The scale needs to be 0.01. Always. I see people forget this all the time. Don't forget that. We are not exporting animation, so we're going to click that and uncheck it. Now make sure you need to not add leaf bounds. You not add leaf bounds. And under geometry, select tangent space. And then you can name it whatever you want, put it in whatever folder you want, and then export it. Now we're going to move on to the next step. And this will work with the CrossWorlds template project as long as you have it linked to the custom engine. As I understand it, you absolutely positively do need the custom engine to do custom proportions. So I'm just going to extract another project file. Now there's something else very important that you need from this. You're going to need Omega Skeleton, but you cannot get it from FModel in this case. You are going to need to export the .u asset and then import that into Unreal Engine. But the thing is, there are a couple things before we get started. You cannot download it from FModel and then drag and drop the .u asset into Unreal Engine. It will say that it doesn't recognize it, which is hysterical, given that U assets are what Unreal Engine literally makes. Everything you put in Unreal Engine becomes a U asset. But then you try to put it back into Unreal Engine, and it's like, oh, I don't know what this is. So you can't do that. I discovered that a long time ago while trying to follow Saitsu's tutorials with much confusion. You need to download Retoc, not Retoc Workflow, but the normal Retoc. What you want to do is use Retoc to dump all of the game's files. And this will give you not only the U asset, but another file which is very important and makes this all passable. While I'm explaining this, I'm going to open my .u project at least once to get everything set up. It's going to take a little bit for it to open up for the first time. So while that's happening, let's go to my Retoc folder. You will download Retoc at the link in the description. I have already extracted the game files using Retoc. When you get in here, you might think that what you're going to do is talk.exe, but you're not going to do that. What you're going to do instead is you're going to go up here and do something very strange. You're going to type in cmd. This will open the command. I know, it's great. We get to feel like real super hackers today. And so in here, you're going to type a little something. Right here, after it says the file location Retoc, you're going to type space, hyphen, and in lowercase, AES hyphen Key, another space, and here you are going to copy and paste the AES key, which is going to be in the description. Be careful not to add any extra spaces or letters. Put a space after the AES key and type 2 hyphen legacy. Open up Steam, and you're going to go to Sonic Racing CrossWorlds and open the local files. You're going to go to content and drag the PAX file in order to paste that path. And let's see. Oh, there should be a space between the path that you just pasted and legacy. So it should look exactly like this. And next, you're going to put another space. And here in the Retoc folder, if there isn't already a folder, and there shouldn't be a folder that says extract, you'll have to make one. And you're going to drag and drop that extract folder onto here, and that will paste that file location. When you run this command, which you'll do by pressing enter, you're telling Retoc to use this AES key to extract the files from Sonic Racing CrossWorld to this location. And then it's going to run, you'll see bunches of letters and numbers, and it's going to do that for a decent chunk of time. It depends on what kind of computer you have, but plan to sit back and wait for that to finish for maybe 20-30 minutes. But when you're done, if you open the extract folder, or even before it's done, you can actually just watch the files roll in. You will start to see every asset from the game appear here. And so this will get us the Omega skeleton that we need, and also an accompanying file that will allow Unreal Engine to read it. So we're going to go to Union, Content, one Union, Asset, Character, and we'll go down to Omega and Mesh. And now you can see here's his skeleton, and you also have the same thing, a skeleton with a .uexp. And that UEXP basically acts like a key that allows Unreal Engine to read this U asset, which is encrypted, because most retail games have their files encrypted for security reasons. Before we do that, we have some things to do, but Unreal Engine is unfortunately not finished loading yet, so we're going to have to wait several minutes for that to do its thing. Alright, welcome back everyone. Now that we're here in Unreal Engine, a very important part of this process I am going to mention is that in order for Unreal Engine to read the files that we're going to put into it, we need to create the exact file path that those assets came from in the first place. So in this case, we're going to be importing Omega's skeleton, which is convenient because we need to make a path for Omega anyway, because that's the character that we're replacing. So the path for that will be in the content folder. We'll create the folder 01 Union, Asset, Character, Omega, and Mesh. And so in the Mesh folder is where we're going to put these files. Again, if you try to import these to Unreal Engine, the skeleton U asset and the .uexp, you're going to get these errors. Wait, you can't see them because they're behind my head. It will tell you that they are unreadable. You can't just drag and drop them, so what you want to do is right click on the Mesh folder and click Show in Explorer. This will open up the file path for this folder. We're going to move Omega's skeleton, both files, into this folder. And these may go ahead and appear here, but in our case they didn't. So we're going to close, and then we're going to go back and reopen the project. My cat Antoine is singing the songs of his people because I haven't fed him yet, and it's 11 p.m. Oh, I was wondering about this. Okay, so you may have noticed they still didn't appear here, and there's a reason for that. Yet you need a specific .u project within the custom engine folder. But Leon, you said that if we use the U project in the custom engine, the cooking fails are going to happen and we're not going to be able to cook. You're right. But I found a solution. So close this and go to where you have the custom engine. I have them in my programs, and when you open the UE5 Sonic Racing CrossWorlds folder, go Windows, Union, and right here union.u project, open this. Okay, so now that you're here, we're going to have to make that file path again. A character, and I was already importing shadows for Leon, so we already have part of this ready. Just type in Omega and Mesh. And now we will open this Mesh folder, Show in Explorer, and now we're going to, just like I showed you a second ago, we're going to drag the SK Omega skeleton in this folder. Now, look at that, it appeared. I was literally worried it might not, and then I would just be very sad. Here's what you do. Full credit to Ultima647 for figuring this out. It's very ingenious. So here in the Mesh folder, it's still the U asset and the UEXP. So this U asset is encrypted and it needs the UEXT. And so it doesn't jive with the CrossWorlds template project. Here's how we're going to force it to jive. You're going to duplicate this. And don't rename this yet. Right click on this and click Save. Now, when you open that Mesh folder again, you can see that the Omega skeleton 1 is just a U asset. It doesn't have an accompanying whatever. So close this, we won't need it anymore. So you can delete these. Go back over to the CrossWorlds template project that you were just using and open that .u project. Now, we're going to reopen this Show and Explorer, and we can delete these, which we know do not work. That's the ones that we riffed was Retoc. We know that they're not going to open here, but you know what will? The new asset that we just duplicated. You can find it in the UE5 Sonic Racing CrossWorlds folder. Go to Content, and then just follow this down to Omega Mesh, and there it is. And so now, we're going to drag this .u asset into the CrossWorlds template project mesh folder. And now here it is. So now you can rename this, take off the 1, and now we have Omega Skeleton ripped directly from the game without having to go through Blender. If you're going to ask me why couldn't I just use Blender, I don't know. I have no idea. This obviously keeps some elements of that file that are going to make this custom proportions thing work for us. And actually, I have a little tip for you. Don't keep this named SK Omega Skeleton, because remember that Omega has the AI Omega. And if you've got any mods that replace the AI Omega, or you just don't want AI Omega to be all messed up, rename the skeleton something different. I'm just gonna be lame and name it my custom skeleton. Now that we have this, we're going to just change one little setting on this. That's gonna make this whole thing work. Double click on your skeleton, and you're gonna see nothing here because there is nothing here to see yet. Go up to this gear icon and click the option that says Show Retargeting Options. And then these little things that say animation will pop up. Now go to Bone Root, it'll be the first bone here. And right click, this is important. Don't left click because you'll only get this. Instead, hover over that and right click it, then you'll get this menu. And you want to select Recursively Set Translation Retargeting Animation Relative. And that somehow makes everything work. I don't know how Ultima figured this out. I don't get it, but it does a thing, apparently. Make sure that you press the save icon. You can X out of this, and now you can import your character as normal. You'll import the FBX. Oh, one thing real quick I will mention. You want to import this into the mesh folder where your custom skeleton is, and you want to make sure the skeleton is set to my custom skeleton, or whatever you name the skeleton. And make sure import uniform scale is 1.2 as usual, and import all. And we got no errors. If it says that it couldn't confirm couldn't merge bones, couldn't because of the bone hierarchy, I forget exactly what it said, I got that problem earlier. Make sure that you imported the correct skeleton, and make sure that in Blender you didn't change any of the names of the bones or delete any of them, because remember, that's going to mess things up. And make sure that you didn't add any bones in the middle of other bones and mess up the hierarchy. And now, since I've already shown you how the folders in Unreal Engine work, and I specifically showed you how to arrange all of your assets in the previous video, I'm just going to time-lapse past all of this. Okay, so it didn't take long. And now you can see that the skeleton now has this character attached to it. So that's working well. And remember that we need to rename our skeletal mesh and our physics asset. So now everything is properly renamed. Everything is in the correct folders. And now we are ready to cook this project. And I will get back to you when that is done. And there we go. That didn't take very long. Only 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Alright, so now we can package. Here are some important things. Whenever you go here into the mesh folder, you are still going to delete the physics asset, but the My Custom Skeleton, you need to leave that in here. That's going to allow our custom proportions to work. If you remove this, your model will T-pose, because the skeleton that it's connected to will be gone, and it won't know what to do. So now that this is in here, and we've deleted the things that we need to, we'll click Repack Mod, and then we'll put this into the game. So we'll make a file that says Omega, and then I'll just put these mod files in here. And now we can test out our mod. Fingers crossed that everything worked properly. Oh, and Shadow's back because Leon is not here right now. There he is!
Mission accepted.
Hey, it took! It's working! Alright, we need to do a little race with him real quick. Actually, just so that we can see what he looks like, let's make him an extreme gear. You know what? I'm gonna unlock the shark just for this occasion. We need the shark. The Jaws rocket. And we'll get in some colors to match our Skylander character. Now we are ready for a little race.
The racers are now getting ready.
Yeah, everything's looking really good.
Let's begin.
And look, there's Omega and he looks normal. That's why renaming the skeleton was so important.
Acceptable.
I mean, Omega's really big. It's hard to see over top of him to see how I'm racing. Oh, this has terrible handling. Oh no. I really hope that they add custom voice lines for this character. Sabak. Retaliate. Oh no, poop. How can I retaliate when I'm dead? They did such a good job with this track, honestly. It's really fun. Really, oh my goodness. I just thought, what if they do another... What if they do another partnership with Monster Hunter? Then we can have a Monster Hunter track. That would be awesome. Hey, I didn't do as terribly as I thought I would somehow. That was adequate. He looks so good. I'm so happy with how this turned out. And it was really easy. Honestly, editing this video is going to be harder than making the video. Okay, that turned out amazingly. I'm so thankful to Ultima647 for figuring this out, because this turned out really, really well. And this is a very easy process that anybody can do. I highly recommend, no matter what character you're modding, just go ahead and tweak the ripped skeleton a little bit to fit your modded character, and it works great. I hope that this tutorial was helpful for you. Perhaps in the future I will also go into creating custom bones so that you can have extra physics for hair and capes and tails and ears, anything like that that you want to add. If you would like to see that, please let me know. And again, if you have any questions, you know that you can always ask me in the comments, or you can contact me on Discord at the Sonic Prof. And a huge shout out to the CrossWorlds Hub Discord server that is full of awesome people like Ultima, put out tutorials, programs, and are just around and willing to help. And with that, I hope that you all have a wonderful week. Happy modding, and I'll see you in the next video. You're dismissed.